Hello and welcome to Thrive with Naja, where we share what's real, relevant, and relatable to you. I'm so excited about today's episode. It's episode 15, which is very exciting for me. So we've had 15 shows so far over the last few months, and we've had some amazing guest experts who are sharing their unique gifts with us. And today I have my friend and branding guru, Michelle Gelati. Do I say the Mandel, or is that like, you too? Is it just the gelati, or do you say Mandel? Is it
just gelati?
Okay,
okay. No, yeah, I was going to joke with you and say it's whatever I feel, in the moment.
In that moment, I
gelati.
Like it. And how are you feeling now? A little gelati, a little Mandel, a
lot gelati. Let's go there. Let's stay there.
I like it. Okay, so we have Michelle Gelati, and we are going to be talking about the 6 keys to a great, authentic brand. And if you are an entrepreneur, which I'm guessing if you're here, you are, this is such an important topic for all of us. I am Naja Hayward. I'm a business strategist, and I support savvy, smart, driven entrepreneurs to take their unique gifts into the world and express themselves in the greatest way possible. So we are going to be talking about such an important topic, and I want to jump in first. I always ask just kind of a non-relevant question, which is what is one thing, Michelle, that drives you to do what you do every single day?
Gosh, my heart and mind went like so many different ways. Coming off of the conversation we were just having right before we hopped on to talk about branding, I immediately think of my son. That's definitely one answer. Love's not even a strong enough word. I'm so proud, appreciative, grateful that I get in this lifetime to show him, especially as a woman, that I get to show him that it's possible. Whatever, meaning he may not be an entrepreneur, but does he want to travel the world? Does he, when he finds himself up against an obstacle, meaning what he might perceive as an obstacle, a problem, etc., really showing him by modeling, not so much by telling him, even though of course I do that as well, but by modeling that there are solutions. There are more than enough solutions to help yourself, and you just said it with what you do helping clients, to be able to support ourselves in expressing who we really are in the world. So I would say he is one big reason that I do what I do, but at the heart and soul, I would say that it's expression for me. It is, I believe that entrepreneurship, and I don't mean branding, what I do within the entrepreneur life, but I mean just having that entrepreneurial spirit to me is all about, getting to really express myself. You said it earlier, being real, like that I get to be myself in my work and enjoy it, enjoy it.
It's so interesting because I don't even know if you know this, but we actually, so just for all of you out there, Michelle and I have known each other for several years, and we just met maybe 6 months ago, live and in person was the first time that we met. But you may not know this, the way that I got associated with you was through Savor the Success. I saw this woman, Michelle, all over, just like, talk about queen of branding yourself. Like, you were just so spectacular. And I was so impressed by you. I was inspired by you. And I wanted more of you. And so I kind of started following you and really looking at, what are you up to? And so when we talk about branding, which we're going to be jumping into, you are not only a physical representation of what you do so well, but just in everything that it's so consistent, and you bring yourself. And so I'm really honored to have you today, because branding is such an important topic for me. I see so many people that are not bringing their authentic selves, and it's really hard to see sometimes. And you see how it impacts their businesses. And so it's a good topic. So let's jump in.
Let's do it, sister.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Awesome. So what is the first key to really creating, first of all, let's talk about what is a brand. Like, you know, we use that word so much and we hear it all over the place, but tell me from your point of view, what is a brand?
Sure. So I love to start that conversation by saying that branding is you in action. So the act of brand, you know, it's you in action. And I love that we're starting here, Naja, because even my joke every time I talk about this is that, so I started in the business when I was 21, so I'm 41 now. And throughout all this time, again, and I kind of grew up in this industry, throughout all this time, even now, as a 41-year-old woman who's had this business for 14 years, still now when I hear the word branding, it doesn't connect with me. You know, and I know what it's about, but so I'm so glad we're starting here. And if any of you feel that way, I totally get it. And so let's make it, this is what Naja's all about. Let's make it real. Let's make it relevant, as she said, to what's happening in your world. So branding is you in action, and really your greatest authentic brand, like the most powerful expression of you, that's essentially what a brand is. And to take it a step further, you know, a great and powerful brand happens when what you do, say, and show to the world are consistently in alignment with one another. So,
oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can just, and if you're anything like me, and that's why I close my eyes, I'm very visual and I feel everything. And so when I say that, or, you know, hopefully you feel something, hopefully you can see something in your mind's eye, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely making it more relevant for me. A great brand, you know, let's not get caught up in all the, you know, lingo. It's just, the question to ask yourself is, you know, is what I am saying, showing, and doing, is what, you know, is all of that in alignment? You know, is everything, as you were talking about a few minutes ago as well, am I being consistent? You know, it's kind of like, you know, during a week, let's say on a Tuesday, you know, you're going to yoga, and you bump into a friend, because again, let's make it relevant. You bump into a friend, and then you might bump into that same friend on a Saturday night, you know, at a dinner party. You know, is the energy that you're bringing to that like exchange, whether it's spontaneous or otherwise, how are you showing up? And are those, you know, again, are you in alignment? Do you feel in alignment? So that's how I talk about, you know, what great branding is. Not just what a brand is, but what a great authentic brand does is you align all of those things together.
Well, I love you saying this because oftentimes, and Tim, thanks for interjecting. You said branding is the one way you want your core customer to feel about your business. And so that's kind of, you know, right? It's like, how are you bringing yourself to make them feel like this is who I'm getting? Diana, welcome. Love having you. Welcome to the show. And so a lot of times we think of branding as your business card and your logo. And so people are saying, you know, I need to create my brand, right? But really the reality is your brand is already created. It's how do you express your brand and how do you do it in all of those ways? Who would you say is the number one brand person that's created a brand for themselves and represents their brand out in the world? Like, who would you say is the number one person who does that well right now?
You're probably, I mean, you're probably going to smile at this because you probably know exactly who I'm going to say, but she's the first person that comes to mind is Oprah. You know,
oh, I love that. Yeah.
Meaning from a personal brand standpoint. And obviously what you and I are talking about tonight, just to let everyone know, is not just about personal branding. It's beyond that. You know, you don't have to be a personal brand to benefit from these different keys. But yeah, I would say Oprah. They're again, and I don't know her personally, but what do I feel? And we're going to go, Tim, thank you so much for saying that, because we're going to go into feeling more in a second. But yeah, what I feel, and I did see her speak recently here in LA, you know, what I feel when I heard her speak, or when I've seen her on Super Soul Sunday, or during her, you know, talk show for so many years, it really feels like there is a golden thread, that there is an honesty, that there is a realness that she is allowing me to be a part of, you know, that she's really, so yeah, she's the very first one. She's the one.
You know, interestingly enough, I've met Oprah 3 times. And the first time, I'll just share the first time that I met her. I went to her show in Chicago, and it was at the end of the show, this was when everyone would walk down the line, and she would shake everyone's hand. And I don't know if it was me or if it was the Oprah thing that she does, but I really felt like out of everyone in this entire place, she stopped me, she shook my hand, she looked me in the eye. I was there. It was just me and her in the room. And I think that that's another thing that a good brand does, is it brings you into your personal world without even, I don't know her, I've never had dinner with her. And I think that she does that so exceptionally well. Tim said an emotional connection, good or bad, that is created by their actions. Absolutely. So, okay, I love that. So Oprah is number one, and I'm with you on that. I have so much respect for what she's created. Okay, so what's the first key to a great, authentic brand? Let's jump into it,
Let's jump in. All right. So I'll save feeling for, it's technically key number 2, and these aren't in order of importance, everyone. This is just the way that I, will share them. But the first one that we want to talk about is authenticity. So again, it's a word that we hear all the time, but hopefully tonight you're going to hear something, or more importantly, feel something different. That you'll be able to take into your business, take into your life, really, because hopefully much of what we talk about on from a business perspective, we can actually really use in our life as well. That's when I think we are at the pinnacle, in my opinion, of our success, is when everything, is connected, of course. So the first one is authenticity, is this idea that, transparency is the bridge to connection. So, when we talk about connection, that's what we're all trying to do with our businesses, is create deeper, longer lasting relationships. So, the question here would be, doing the work to find out what you and your products and services really mean to your audience, because that's part of authenticity too, is what's authentic for them. Like, what's authentically real, what's emotional, what's important, what's valuable for them. So it's not just all about us. We have to always remember that.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that really all the keys here kind of relate to both of us, that the sweet spot is, how authentic are we being? How much of ourselves are we really, putting on the table? And of course, always remembering that we need to really line that up. The sweet spot is lining that up with what they authentically, really feel is important. But transparency, humanity, again, making your business human, because you're human. We don't want, a commodity. Like, this is real. I know that a lot of us are behind our computers a lot of the time, and, especially digital marketers, and we're online businesses and such. But listen, what people want is your humanity. So how can you express your humanity, and how can you infuse, who you really are in an elegant way into your business and marketing?
I like that word, in an elegant way. And Tramel, welcome. Angela, welcome. Nice to have you. George Lewis, nice to have you. So here's a question that I have. When does being authentic and being inappropriate, is there a line between, like, really crossing over into, wait, you're way too authentic, you're way too much yourself in your business? Because one of the things that I'm finding, and I know that there are certain people that resonate with it. I don't happen to, but it seems to be kind of popular to cuss a lot, and that's some people's brand, and that's okay. But where is that line between being authentic and who you are, and being professional, or being a professional within your business?
Yeah, and thank you so much for asking this question, because that's the very reason that I not so subtly included the word elegant in there.
Yeah, exactly. I love that word. Right? Yeah.
And I agree, because for so many years, so for everyone, for 8 years I did advertising my biggest account was the Got Milk account, and then I worked on Starbucks and Hewlett Packard. So that's my world, just so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. Yeah.
Big brand. I love it.
And so where's the line? Okay, so the elegance, So there is an elegance. There is an art, if you will, to being, meaning not to being you. You are you, and that's awesome. Like, that doesn't necessarily need to change. But in our businesses, or when we're expressing, I should say, ourselves on Facebook or in our blogs or whatnot, think of, and maybe elegance isn't your word, but I know for me, when I think of, okay, what is that filter? Because we all need a filter, we really do. Not everything in my life is relevant to you, meaning not everything in my life has value to you. So I think that's where the line is I know when I write my articles, I mean, I don't call them articles, but when I share, about 3 times in when during when I'm writing, like at the beginning of when I'm writing, I'm asking myself, is there value in this? And then I keep writing, and I'm not censoring myself per se. I'm still allowing myself to just flow and go with it. In the middle, is this of value? Yes, it is. Okay, I keep going. Or I might delete a sentence, or I might delete a whole paragraph. So where is their value? And then also just, thinking of that filter of, pouring all of your words, pouring all of your stories into a filter. Think of the word that would work for you. Elegant. And because I was in corporate, I try not to use the word professional, because for so long that stole my personality and I didn't express myself, as much.
I totally get that.
So, but what is your word? And maybe this is one of your pieces of homework for tonight. My word is elegance, and that's, I pour it through that filter. Okay, is this elegant? Is this of value? Actually, so there's 2 words in that filter. Is this elegant? Is this of value? What is that word for you? Use the word value, but then also think of what that other brand word is for you. What do you stand for? What do you want people, and we're going to get to feeling in a second, but what do you want people to feel? And again, most importantly, will they get value from the story that you're sharing?
I love that. So really asking yourself through the process of whatever it is that you're creating, whether it's a video, a blog post, a Facebook post, a quote blog, okay, what will they get value? What is the value from this? G. Lewis said, the brand I think is interesting is successful musicians and comedians, Rolling Stones. Oh my gosh, what a great brand. What a great brand. And we just lost a really outstanding brand in David Bowie. Like, talk about a brand who really was himself in a way that allowed other people to do the same. And he allowed other people to be themselves. And what a great brand. So, and George Carlin. G. Lewis, I agree with both of those. Great brands. Okay, so step 1 is authenticity. Bring yourself looking at elegance is your word, and is this a value, right? Yes. Is this a value? And so really looking at what is your kind of filter word? Like, what is your filter word as you're going through the process of whatever you're creating, videos, blogs, whatever it is. Okay, I like that. Okay, 2. Absolutely. Second step to a great authentic brand.
Yes. The second one goes back to, I think it was Tim who mentioned it, and that's feeling. The way that I have said it, and I actually wrote a very long, not a long, but a very heartfelt post earlier on Facebook, a public post, so anyone can read it, that said this very thing, that feeling is the attraction field. So forget everything, well, not everything, but forget a lot of the things that maybe you have learned about branding or marketing and advertising. Those are like, cool titles or whatever, they're professional, cool titles. But really all of those jobs that we have as, as entrepreneurs, they're all about feeling. They're all about, hopefully, they're all about infusing feeling into what we're doing. And so the second that we start to think of branding and marketing as not branding and marketing, but what do I want? What is the feeling that I want to, in my words, the feeling that I want to leave the world with? Or in other words, what is the feeling that I want this marketing campaign to have? Or this.
Now, can we replace feeling with emotion? Is it the same thing? Is it? Okay, great, got it.
Yes, that would be great. And it's that, I don't know who said it, but people will remember, people may not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel, right? Yeah. So again, business is not like the professional is personal, the personal is professional. These aren't 2 different things. So and I'm getting chills as I'm thinking about this. We make it so hard. Sometimes we make things so difficult on ourselves. Like, oh, I don't know enough. I don't know this. You do know this. You're living proof. You are living your life. And I promise promise you that you know how to market. I promise that you know how to brand yourself. You know, again, just allow yourself the permission to think about it all as, how do I want this person to feel? You know, at the end of the day, what do I want them to remember from, you know, the story that I shared today, or even the market, like the, you know, the, what do you call it? The Facebook ad that they saw, even something as like, traditional or specific as that, how them to feel. So yeah, that's number 2.
Okay, I like number 2. G. Lewis says, I think marketers usually default to what has worked rather than taking a risk. And I wonder, you know what, that's actually a really good point. Why do you think it is? Because I have to say, I consider myself fairly real and authentic. And there are times when I don't go to the point that I want to go like to the edge. And I think, and I'm careful rather than, like G. Lewis said, taking that risk. Why do we do that? Like, why do we hold ourselves back from taking the risk? Because it's when we take the risk that we allow people that emotion, we allow them the opportunity to feel the whatever that, you know, whatever that emotion may be. When we take the risk, it's really when they participate with us.
Right. I mean, I think there's a few different things that are going on. I mean, I think the first one is we don't feel that, because, you know, again, we're humans. We are social creatures. And so I think we feel that we're not going to connect. It's like we're afraid that something that we're going to say is just not going to come off right, or it's not going to be the right thing. When in reality, and I don't feel this as much anymore, but when I started to really put myself out there after like deleting the word professional from my vocabulary or from my filtering, there were so many moments, even when I started to get comfortable, where I'd write something and I was about to push post or publish or whatever, and it was, oh gosh, and honestly what I was probably thinking at that moment was, you know, is anyone gonna get value from this? Is anyone going to like it? And you know what, let's be real, yeah, the value that came as I got into practice, but at the very beginning it was, is anyone going to like it? Is anyone going to like me?
Oh, and that's kind of the bottom line for all of us. We have this desire to be liked, right? And I think as we expose ourselves more, and really being your authentic self is an exposure of yourself, right? And as we expose ourselves more, I really see that you'll be criticized more. That you open yourself up more to the possibility of criticism. And I think that's where we have to allow ourselves for that to be okay. To know that, you know what, I am giving myself in this moment the best of myself and the most real part of myself that I believe is of value. And when people won't resonate, they won't resonate. And that just means that maybe they're not a part of my tribe, or maybe that they were triggered in some way, and that has nothing to do with me. Diana Delgado said, we have been taught to be careful, and there's danger in the unknown, kind of cellular ingrained fear. Ooh, yeah, that's deep. Okay, G. Lewis says, isn't the fun to break a new idea? You know what, it is, because I have to tell you, I don't know about you, Michelle, but when we go over that edge, and when we like kind of break outside of our shell, and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and raw and intense and emotional and scared and whatever that thing is, it's like, it is fun. There's a catharticism. It's cathartic.
Yeah, that's right.
It's cathartic. Yeah.
It's so true.
I have this feeling you dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we think we're going to be outed, like, exactly, we're social creatures. We think that we're not going to be a part, you know, of the group anymore. But and this might be funny, not just funny to people, but hopefully there's use in this. Like a while back, I started like if I saw that someone was, you know, jumping off of my mailing list, or you know that I had less followers on Facebook, or whatever it is, whatever it was, I started playing. I have a lot of hacks, a lot of like little tricks I play with myself to get myself into a new habit, or to like, you know, just feel or do a certain thing. And I started to look at those numbers, and sometimes it was just like one person or like two people or whatever, but and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that they have realized that I'm not the person, or I don't have the voice or the words for them, because this is making room for the other 5 that tomorrow are going to be like, I'm so glad that she strings words together the way that she does, because I feel like she gets me, or I get her, you know, there's a win-win there. So if that helps any of you, you know, if you are looking at the numbers, if you are just looking at business from a quantitative perspective, allow yourself quality, allow yourself the qualitative, which is, hey, listen, the truth is we need space. We need, you know, we want new people. We want the people who align with our values, you know, to be part.
Marissa Kelman said that is gold, and it is absolutely gold, especially if you're in the process of just building your list. And so we do, it's like, oh, if someone unfriends us, or if they, you know, oh goodness, my heart has been broken from seeing people unsubscribe, and I came to that same conclusion of thank you for really for taking care of yourself and realizing that this is not for you, and allowing that space for someone else. That's awesome. So G. Lewis says, for X, why did Empire of the Sun make the new Honda commercial?
Oh, for example, why did Empire,
Oh, right. Sorry. See, I'm not that cool. Okay, for example, why did Empire of the Sun make the new Honda commercial? Okay, I'm not that cool. I don't watch television that much. Okay, so let's jump on to this third key.
Yes.
To a great authentic brand. Okay, so first we have authenticity. Second, we have feeling. And then third, what do we have? And then again, for anyone who's just jumped on, or anyone who's watching on your computer, these are not in order.
Yes, they're not in order of importance. So just feel them out. Well, you know, you might have one that's like, yeah, that's the one I'm going to work on starting tomorrow. You know, we might, you know, there's probably one that you want to master, or, you know, have more fun with. So,
and you know, I want to pause really quickly. So when you say work on or have more fun with, how are we using these 6 keys? And so how can we, what should we be thinking about on how to implement these into the brand that we're creating for our businesses, whether it's a new brand or a brand an established brand? Like, how should we use this information?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, very practical, which I love. Like, I love making things very practical and real and human. So the thing I would say, so the very first thing I thought of was, if you are working on a new program, let's say you are creating a new, or, you know, you're in either collaboration or you're in creative time, and you're like, okay, I have these like this juicy idea for a program or a new service. I would literally, as you are creating it, maybe you have a few that you're looking at, like, okay, what do I go out into the market with? Because this is the thing. We sometimes think that branding, you know, is just about like your brand photography or the logo or the website, right? We've heard that so many times. But in reality, everything that we do, say, and show, and most definitely our products and services, are a huge part of our brand. So as you're going out with, or thinking about going out to the marketplace with a new program or service, go through these 6 keys. Like, literally have the Post-it note right next to you. Authenticity, feeling, the one, and then the next ones that we're going to share, and just you know, kind of do a little, that's your homework. It's like, okay,
like a little mental checklist. Checklist. Is this authentic? What's the feeling that I'm trying to elicit? So, right?
Yes.
Go through. Okay, I love it. Okay, so then what's number 3?
So number 3, so remember just a few minutes ago I was talking about, you know, these hacks, these like tricks I play with myself. So
yeah, I love it.
I love that we talked about that, because the next one is one of those. So if you can picture an upside down, wait, is it upside down? Yeah, an upside down triangle, and the triangle is divided into 3 parts. You want to ask yourself 3 questions for every one thing that you want to express into the world. So again, it could be a program or service. It could be, you know, the next Facebook post that you want to write. You're going to ask yourself, and this is sort of like a cheat sheet, if you will, like a very quick way to know if you are on brand, a quick way to know if you are going out into the world with your most, you know, the biggest expression of you. The first question that you're going to ask is this, and this goes back to key 1, is this authentic to me? The next one is this unique? Meaning, is this unique to me, to my experience of life, my experience of the industry? Is this unique to my industry, period? You know, like, and then the last one is this shareable? Meaning, I don't mean the traditional, like, you know, someone's going to share your Facebook post. that's part of sharing too. But I mean, is it relevant? Is it shareable? Is it relevant to your, to your peeps or to your potential party people? And this one I just call, it's just the AUS of personality. So if key number 3 is really personality, but I kind of went cart before the horse, sharing with you what this upside down triangle looks like. Really, it's just a filter. So if tomorrow, you are wanting to share something on Facebook and you just want something easy, you're going to use this. You're going to go, okay, is this authentic to me? Is this unique to me or to my industry? Or am I putting the words together in a unique way? Like, is there some uniqueness here? And then thirdly, is this shareable or is this relevant?
I love that. I actually, this whole month has been about me launching this program for videos called 15-second videos, and it's just because I started doing these 15-second videos, and I ended up like just getting clients from it, and it was just crazy. And I thought, and I actually asked myself, I'm like, everyone is doing video. Why do I want to teach a video course? And I thought, yeah, but no one's teaching a 15-second video course, like where it's really specific, and so I love that because sometimes it can be hard thinking. It's so easy to undermine what you create and to really say, what's unique about this? Everyone's doing it, but you can always find something unique in what you put out there, right?
Absolutely.
So sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper, but I love, so AUS, authentic, unique, and shareable. So upside down triangle. And you know what, you guys, go home tonight or right now, since you have a pen and paper, I'm sure, and just draw that triangle and put that authentic, unique, and shareable, and use that as your model anytime you're creating something new. I love it.
That's right. Yes. And so that, that third key is really about personality. Like, how do I express, my personality, that biggest expression of who you are? Because really we could say that a great, powerful, and authentic brand is about that. It's the biggest expression of you. And then moving on to key number 4, and this is something that we hear all the time and that I see is hard sometimes for us to accomplish, is consistency. Consistency is queen, and we kind of talked about this, many minutes ago, or consistency, for those of you gents on the line, consistency is king. So,
okay.
So yes, this is, this is about literally consistency, like on a month, like literally in a week's moment, in a week's time. Do you feel that you're actually, speaking of Oprah, that you're expressing yourself in a way that is similar? Like, let's make it really simple, like is similar every time, meaning there's a golden thread. And beyond that, it's something that we talked about before, which is alignment. I mean, yes, consistency in the sense of, are you being consistent with your brand? Like, are you going out with the same brand personality day in, day out? Again, we're human. Maybe one day you all of a sudden you're like sharing like your super rocker side, even though you're like actually so much of you is a yogi or whatever, which is totally cool. But I mean, yeah, so consistency in that regard, and then also just, am I really, in alignment? So all of this, honestly, every single key is about reflection. Naja, you and I were saying this about parenting before we, start talking about branding, is so much of this, like, when I get asked, well, but Michelle, how can I like make all this happen? And honestly, my simple or maybe not so simple answer is be in constant reflection. Be in constant, like, is this, and not just think about it, I mean, feel it. Like, is this really who I am? Is this really what I am, wanting to share with the world? So being in constant reflection, this is my yogi side coming out, being in reflection is really, really important.
I have two things that I have a question and then I have a comment. One is, I always find, I like to say that I'm part like Gandhi and then part like, I don't know, someone just totally inappropriate and crazy out there. Deanna says, is it what I think branding should be? Yeah. And I really sometimes have this split person. You and I, do we share this same birthday, right? We're both Cancers. You're June 28th? So we're both Cancers.
Close, yeah. Yeah.
When are you, the 30th? What day are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What birth?
July.
What day? No, what day?
I'm July 16th. I'm a Cancer. Yes.
Oh, July 16th. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we're both Cancers. And then I have this like Gemini moon that's just this, you know, wishy today. And so there are times when I find, and I think that's where I start to hold back. So how do we, when there is that part of us that is duplicitous, how do we stay consistent in that realm? And I think I found a way to do it, but how would you recommend that one stays consistent when they may have a slightly duplicitous personality?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is kind of something that I do with other parts of someone's brand, like other specific things, but where you list all parts. And again, we're all so multidimensional, and I'm super duper silly. Like, I'm a very silly woman. And but then I also have this very quiet, soulful, peaceful yogi side to me. And there's other stuff in there too, but anyway, that's like the spectrum. So I think okay, there's like 5 things wanting to come out. The first thing I would say is permission. So, you know, permission to be those 2 things, and for them to potentially not match. Like, let's just say that as the first thing. I want to give you, because the biggest expression of who each of you are, everyone watching here, is, you know, we need to give ourselves permission to, I'm going to be silly, you know, on Facebook, and I'm also going to be a super yogi. And however, remember that your brand is not just made up of like someone reading just 2 of those things. Let's say someone comes to my Facebook page and all they ever see is, you know, one post where I'm being, you know, silly Michelle, and then another one the next day, you know, yogi Michelle, and then they're gone. They might be like, what's she all about? I don't get it. For the most part, people are going to stay with you. People are going to allow you. Check this out. If you give yourself permission to be all of you, to be that biggest expression of yourself, you know, people will be like, oh, okay, well, she's cool with it. I'm cool with it. You know, some days she's this way, some days she's that way. But that's still your brand. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So permission is really key.
That's a big one, actually. And I think that it is. And I think in so many areas, permission, because how are you authentic? You can't really be authentic without really giving yourself permission to be that in this world that we're creating of entrepreneurship, right? It's like, you know what, I give myself permission to just come in as I am. Here was another question that I have. There's a lot of what we're talking about seems to be focused on people that are going, you know, the coaches or the people that are more service-based, where they are their brand, right? We're really talking about you as your brand. So what about the people out there who are creating, I just signed up a new client today, a consulting client, and she owns a staffing agency. And so, you know, when you have a business that's outside of yourself, whether it's a product or a service or a brick and mortar, how do you create a brand that's in alignment with, is it important to create a brand that's in alignment with who you are?
Yes. The short answer is yes. And I get a similar question asked so often. I just was talking to someone, recently, where he's not the face to his brand. And my husband and I were both, because my husband's in the business, is in advertising, and we were sharing with him, that's fine, and he has a traditionally named company or product-based business, and we said, no, that's fine, you don't have to be the face to your business. However, look at like Richard Branson, the guy who comes to mind, is who he is, meaning his values, his beliefs, his story is in there. It's like, it's very subtle, but it's throughout everything, that
not
person
so subtle.
Or not, what am I saying? Yeah, not so subtle, right?
Yeah.
But meaning for some of us, like personal brands, where you go onto our websites and it's like boom, 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 and it's like Michelle everywhere, he's pretty out there with his brand. But I would say,
but it's clear, but it's very, talk about being authentic and crossing that over into the products that you create, whether it's an airplane or a telephone company or whatever it is. Like, I think he's a perfect example of really aligning your business and your personal brand together.
Yes. And I think the last thing I want to share around that is that for more product-based businesses, or for those of us who, aren't personal brands, but are, are still might have like a coaching business, where the umbrella, there's a lot of different coaches and you're not the face necessarily. I would say that your story is still really important. Again, we want to know, you might not be our coach, you might not be the consultant that we work with. We still want to know, we still want to know who that CEO is. We still want to know, how how your values, are being expressed. I think of Steve Jobs too. Like, he wasn't super out there with like, hey, this is me. However, I feel, and I don't even know as much about, him per se as maybe other people do, but I still feel like I felt him throughout the brand. So your story, I guess the answer there is your story is still really, really important, and nurture that, share that story as the CEO, of your business.
Agree with you. Well, people who, I think you can tell when there's a CEO, you can tell when the alignment has worked well, because it just, it's a great example. Apple and Steve Jobs, like if you never knew who he was, and then all of a sudden you met him, you'd say, that makes sense. Like, that makes sense, right? Total sense. Gianna said, it is being you for your tribe. If they don't get you, it is okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is about making it okay. I like that word, permission. Okay, so what is step 5?
Yes.
Step 5.
Step 5, and we hinted at it earlier, but I call it make happiness your business. This is actually part of my tagline: make happiness your business by creating your authentic brand. But what I mean by make happiness your business is, really doing what you love and selling what you love is key, because people feel it. And we've all done it both ways, meaning I've launched programs or put services out there that I was like lukewarm with. I'm like, yeah, this is good, and people need this, and yeah, okay, let's go for it. Well, and I don't know if I just felt it, like my energy dropped. People can feel, how into something you are, and they want, again, speaking of being human or infusing, sort of your humanity into the business, people want a human, like, they don't want a business, they want to work with a person, and they want to feel like, that you are really invested, that you love this, that you love that program or that offering. So it sounds so simple, but does it make you happy? Is the program or service that you're going to be sharing tomorrow on that discovery call, or launching, that group program in 3 months, do you really, like, are you lit up about it? Are you really, really excited to do it, and here's actually, maybe this is the best question, to do it over and over and over and over again.
Big one. That is a big one. You know what? That is a really big one. Let me ask you, for you, because there's so many ways, and as entrepreneurs, we're always creating and innovating and see how can we continue to be of value and offer, programs, packages, whatever, that help our audience. But can you always be happy about it? Like, aren't there times when, how do you remain happy when sometimes you're in such discovery mode that you're just not quite sure if it makes you happy, but that there's a need out there? Like, tell me more, like, how do you deal with that? Because I have to tell you, quite honestly, there are some times where there are things that just I do because it's good business sense. It's good business.
I hear you. I totally hear you. The first thing, and I'll go back to that exact point, but the first thing I wanted to share is, for me, I'm constantly when I've been in those moments, I'm thinking, okay, you know what, the curiosity that I have to do this thing, meaning I think this is what they want, what they need from a branding perspective. Again, good business, right? Like this is like, they need traditional branding, even though my soul wants to do this, you know? So I allow again, it's all about permission again. I like it. I'm hopefully allowing myself like meaning I'm at least happy. I may not be super duper happy to to put forth that particular service or program. Okay. But I'm at least really happy about, or curious is the word that comes to mind, curious about, okay, let me see. Maybe I'm going to feel differently. And so listen, all of us entrepreneurs, that's the entrepreneurial spirit. If you and I are not open to trying stuff out, literally, like, does it fit? I don't feel like we're entrepreneurs. So I think it's all good. And hey, having good business sense, I am all for. I talk a lot about being a smart businesswoman. We need that part too. But if you're looking at that pie of your life, meaning of your business life, how much of that pie are you experimenting giving people what they want, and hopefully, is the other larger part of the pie where that sweet spot is, where you're happy, you're super psyched, to put this forth. And again, the sweet spot, and your potential party people, your potential clients are as psyched. So it's cool to do it all, and just make sure that pie chart has more of that sweet spot between what lights you up and what's lighting your clients up, or what they really need for their evolution, for their growth.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually a really good explanation. And there's a few things. There's actually a lot of things that just came into my mind, but okay, that's actually a really good explanation. We have 15 more minutes, and I'm like, okay, we have to get to 5, and then I have more questions. So we are in the sixth key. The sixth key now?
Yes, we're in the sixth key.
Okay.
And it's almost, I feel like we could have started with this one, but because it's, it's not only, it's purpose. It's not only knowing your purpose, but really sharing that purpose. And the reason we want to share that purpose and do it consistently, right? That was one of the other keys, to do it consistently, is that people, again, we're talking about humanizing our businesses, humanizing branding, humanizing our businesses. Transparency is the key to connection. Like, relationships is what business is all about. What the greatest life is about relationships. How do we create more engagement? How do we create more of that yumminess of life, those relationships? It's, allowing people in, showing them that there's a depth. This is not just about a quick buck, that this business that we, I love to say that we confusingly, that you and I, meaning when I say you and I mean us entrepreneurs, that we confusingly call these entities businesses, but what they really are movements. So how do we express that what we are doing in the world is so much more than just, making a living? We create a movement, and we create a movement by knowing what is that thing? And we go back to feeling with this one. Yeah. And this is a great homework. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna sleep so well. The next thing I'm gonna say to you. Okay. So this is one of my favorite things ever. I wasn't gonna share this. This is like a perfect way to start to end. But what is that feeling? What is that one feeling that you so desire, that you so wish to gift the world with in this lifetime, in this business lifetime? That's your purpose feeling word. Your purpose feeling word. What is that feeling that that you want to leave people who are reading your blog, potential clients you get on discovery calls with, even the waiter, at the diner you're going to go to on Saturday. Yeah. For me, it's empowerment, and I just got chills saying that. So when I use this in many different ways, but when I am writing, for sure, I mean, yes, I'm thinking of the word elegance, where is there value in this for someone? But the very next thing, or it's all sort of combined, is you know, I stand for empowerment. The feeling that when I'm long gone, when I am of no longer of this world, of this, you know, in this body, what will I have been so proud to have given these relationships, to have given the world. And that is your purpose feeling word. So honestly, that could be your filter. If you want to use that as your filter, you do it. So anyways.
Okay, so let me ask you, Michelle, I love that too. What about those people that are like, I just don't know what that is? What is the work what can they do to really start to get and discover what that is for themselves? Because I think that word purpose, the Dalai Lama said that our purpose is simply to be happy, which means that all of our purpose is the exact same thing.
Correct.
We all have the same purpose, which is to be happy. And really the discovery work is to find out what makes you happy. And so what is that journey for you? Like, how do we, because I hear it all the time. I want to find my purpose. I want to know why I'm here. And I'm like, it's right there. It's already there. You don't have to discover it. It's there. Like, you know it. What's your work in discovering it?
Yeah. Well, I would say, you know, God, I had two things and one thing just slipped my mind. I want to say first.
Because we could just talk forever about
I know.
We could talk for like 2 more hours about this stuff. It's so important and so good and so juicy. So, okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're so good. I'm actually so glad you did that because I just remembered the thing I was going to say that I so want to share. And that is, you know, if you're in that space, let's say you're a new entrepreneur, or let's say you're, you know, going from corporate like I did to this world, and you're just like, I don't know. And, you know, it's a big mind shift. All of a sudden we're like, oh my God, I got to find a purpose and, you know, and all this stuff. So the first thing I would say is, where do you find energy? So start looking at your life. So and what, you know, again, really what we're talking about today is relationships, because your business and my business do not run if there are no relationships. So in those relationships that you nurture, but that you also just have on a daily basis. So again, I'm always thinking about, you know, how I just was in relationship with, or how I just treated the clerk, you know, at Whole Foods, or, you know, my son's teacher, or my son, or my husband, or my client, or my potential client I spoke to this morning. So think of all the ways that you speak to people, that you know, that you're in relationship. And if you can think back to those different moments and those different conversations, literally just start a list of, you know, I felt really alive when I had that conversation with Nick about, and for me, everything comes back to empowering people. Like, you can do this, like, you got it, you know. So I think back to the conversation I had with Nick, this videographer who, you know, was like, I don't know if I can. And in that moment, the thing that gives me energy is really showing him that, you know, just powering him up, like empowering him to keep going. So write your list of where you get energy, or where, you know, like right now I know I'm very I'm very expressive because I love this topic. So think of when you are in that moment, when you're talking to someone and you're like, okay, I'm doing that thing that Michelle said. I'm like in my zone. My face is kind of warm. Like I want to keep talking to Naja because it's so exciting, or I'm feeling that, like, just, you know, something in my heart, or someone is lighting up as I'm talking. Wait, okay, and then stop right there. You can just sort of reflect in that moment and go, okay, when I get in my car, I'm gonna like jot down the, you know, 2, 3, you know, words that have come up for me, and just be curious for the next, like, whatever, 3 weeks or so. Every time you talk to someone, what's energizing you? And something, speaking of a golden thread, something's gonna, in that list, as you keep writing words, like, you know, on my list, I'm sure I would have had other things like, you know, happiness or joy or connection or surprise. I'm really big on surprise. I love surprises. But empowerment would have been that's what I probably would have kept highlighting. Oh, look, that's the golden thread. Every time I'm feeling the most energized, I am empowering someone, or I'm talking about something that is universal, that, you know, again, you can do this too, you know.
Okay, so the big word that you said here to me in this process is curious, like be curious. And I think that it's one of the things that's taken away from us as kids, and so we don't nurture it as adults. But curiosity to me is one of the greatest gifts that we have in this journey of discovery of whatever that is. You know, who am I? What, you know, who is that authentic part of myself? What am I meant to be doing on this planet? What is my purpose? And at the end of the day, if you can just step back and be curious in the process and really give yourself permission, I feel like we need like our own little dictionary, Michelle, of like keywords: permission, curious, purpose, you know, empowerment, such great words. But I love that. Be curious is what you said. So really it's about that process of being curious, discovering what energizes you. When are you most alive? When are you feeling that, like, you know, you want to give more of yourself, right? Yeah, that is, you know, it's so interesting. I want to tell a brief story. I'm a business strategist, and I have come into this crazy aha recently, that it's really not the business strategy work that I love. That's the stuff that I kind of do naturally. It's the part of helping people really shift their inside so that they can start to feel confident in knowing that they can then go out and build that thing. And that was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was a business strategist. No, that, you know, that's not what it is. And so it's that discovery process. You know, I think we all need, anyone who's listening right now, whether you're on the live or the recording, you have to give yourself permission to be in discovery at every given moment. Like there is no arrival. It's not like you're, okay, I'm a business strategist and I'm done. No, you're always discovering who you are. What is your authentic brand? And that may change, right? You know, is your brand something that is stagnant, and once you find it, it's there and you're done? Or,
I mean, the heart and soul of it is kind of, you know, stays the same. Like, I would say a good chunk of it, stays the same. But if we kind of look at it as a pie chart again, just because I'm so visual, I would say a good chunk stays the same, and there are going to be parts of you that you are going to, again, this is a fluid thing. Like, we're free. Like, the entrepreneurial spirit is about freedom. And so, you know, there are seasons, let's put it this way, in our life. Like, for example, my season as of late, the last couple years with a couple of losses. I lost a 22-year-old brother in a car accident, and then I just lost my mom of a broken heart a few months ago. And my season is right now is more of my yogi self, meaning is more of my reflective self. And so a lot of my writing is about that, is about how to live life, and, you know, about healing and all, and, you know, those types of topics. So all to say that, you know, in certain seasons of your life / business, you are gonna, again, you're gonna be maybe you'll be the rocker chick, or maybe in that season you'll be the yogi or the silly person or whatever. And so the core of you is, you know, pretty much always the same, but in the way that you express, because of the season you're in, will be different.
I love that. Deanna said it should be like life. The essence is the same, but it evolves, right? And that is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Well, we have about 3 more minutes, and I would love for you to share how we all can get more of you, because I know I want more of you. I know everyone out there is going to want more of you. So what do you have going on? Tell us about what you have going on.
Awesome. Thank you. So right now, so again, today's conversation was, you know, more on the lines of obviously branding. And so I do have a video series out. If anyone is interested to check that out, I think you'll, you know, get a lot from it.
Is that the branding retreat or no?
Yes.
Is that different? Oh, it is. Okay.
No, that's it. Yeah. The URL is thebrandingretreat.com. And I know that it will be of value to many of you from a business and branding perspective. And because of just who I am, and I've actually partnered with someone for this, there's so much life stuff in there as well. So anyway, that's just a little bit about that, and that will naturally flow into, there is a retreat coming up at the, you know, in the spring. So that will be really fun. And then, so that's
in California. Branding. Is it in California or okay? Great.
Yes, here in LA and Malibu.
Brandingretreat.com. Sometime in the spring there's going to be a retreat, but go check it out now and see what she has going on. And then you have your website, right?
I do, yes. So for I write a lot. I'm a writer at heart. So if you want to check out my blog and check out everything else I have going on, my website is always a great place, and that is, I'll spell it for you because Gelati can be kind of a mouthful and it's hard to spell. So MichelleGhilotti.com, MichelleGhilotti.com, and you'll check out blogs I have coming up every couple of weeks, and you can check out more of my branding work there as well.
I love it. And can people friend you on Facebook?
Yes. So Michelle Ghilotti, and this is what we joked about. I love it. We're like bookending it. Michelle Ghilotti Mandel is my maiden. Is my married name. So Mandel on Facebook.
I love it. And you guys Mandel. Talk about good nuggets and really getting into how someone lives her brand and lives her work. And you are such a representation of everything that you've shared with us today in our 6 key steps to a great, authentic brand. I thank you so much. I love you to death. I think you're an amazing human being. And I'm so glad that we're going to have to do this again, FYI. Like, we're going to have to jump in again and talk more branding, talk more life, maybe talk more kids and family. And so I thank you so much. And I so honor all of the work that you're doing out there in the world. And for all of you, if you're not a Thrive member, then head on over to Facebook and type in Thrive Entrepreneurs. Definitely go in. We are building together, and we want to support you as entrepreneurs in all kinds of areas. Every week, the show is Thursdays at 6:30, so make sure to check us out. We'll be here on Blab for a little while longer until we find a new home. If that happens, I don't know. But in the meantime, I will see you on the other side. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.